for tuning in to my official YouTube channel, Reverend MeeLing. I've been known by a few names: Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, so on and so forth. So there was this time that I was at my apartment in San Antonio, Texas. So this was 2012, okay? And after I had been outed by my ex-boyfriend, Patrick Kennedy, to my biological parents, through him leaving a message on their answering machine, to the point where they ran, the whole tape was run out. Like, of all these different things that he had told them about me, and realistically, the lack of truth in so many different ways. Yeah, he told them about me being in the BDSM lifestyle. Yeah, that was true. But everything else that he had said on that tape, on the voicemail, was inaccurate. He had claimed that I assisted people to help cheat on their spouses. No, not at all. I would not knowingly do that. I'm not that type of person. I'm quite adamantly against that. He had claimed that I was a prostitute, which I was not, nor am I, obviously. And he went on in various different things. Now, my biological mother called me on my cell phone and demanded that I show up to the house. She used my first name, my middle name, my maiden last name, and my legal last name. And so I was like, all right, well, I don't know what that, all I know is I just better get over there. I don't know what that means. That's what I know. So I got over there real quick. And, I've explained this in prior YouTube videos on my official channel, but also in writing well after discussing this in person with some people. And my biological parents cleared out the living room, left one wooden table or wooden chair from the dining table in the living room area after pushing all the other chairs to that dining table against a different area, and so on and so forth. Had a lamp next to the wooden chair, so that way the lamp was directly over my head, and before I even showed up, mind you. And so when I pulled up, and before I turned my car off, my door was open. And so I got out of the car, went inside, and there was the chair, and I sat down in it because, okay. And then my biological mother got in my face, started screaming at me and telling me all the things that had been on that message tape about everything that I was, being accused of. And after my biological mother called me all sorts of names all over again, in my face screaming, then it was like, it literally was almost like a tag team thing, because then she looks at my biological father and, your turn, you go. Whoa, 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 whoa. And so then my biological father just got down real low, and he gets like nose to nose with me in the chair, and I'm just like, okay, you've been quiet this whole time. Okay, what's going on? And I got one question for you, and one question only. Okay, what is it? And he stood up and he goes, do you get beat or do you do the beating? Because I've been to the red light district. Now, those who actually know what my biological father looks like understands how that is just, is this a trick question? I'm so confused. I've been to the red, okay. And so, do you get beat or do you get beaten? Oh, the latter of the two. I definitely am the one doing the beating. That is, yeah, no. But all that stuff that Anna accused me of, no. It's in a relationship. It's a consensual thing. Go down the different aspects. I've done some pickup play, but yeah, no. Let me clarify that for you. And after I said that, he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. It's like, did you just say you were in the red light district? What? Where is that? I've been to Denmark. I've been to the red light district. Uh-huh. And why am I sitting in the chair? I'm confused. I'm very confused. So then Anna and him got into an argument. I ninja'd my way out of there because while the two of them were going, I'm like, I don't need to be a part of that. I want to, okay, let me camouflage this. I'm going to blend into the wall. You can't see me. Like, like you can't see. So after that, apparently Anna had called Patrick back and discussed whatever. And so there was this time where I'm in my apartment. Actually, I was outside. I was sitting outside and I was smoking with a guy who had come over and we were talking and stuff like that. My son was playing his video games and stuff like that and get a phone call from Patrick shortly after. And that would the time frame between that answering machine thing in comparison to the phone call was, I think, like probably about a month and a half, and however many months after the relationship had ended. And Patrick was going on and on about all sorts of stuff as far as whatever. And then he had brought up the something about the video game thing. And I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You had set up that sort of thing. So I didn't, I can barely figure out setting up my cell phone, or doing the laptop thing. I cannot actually, you set up the video game thing. I did not. And, whatchamacallit, Patrick was throwing a tantrum and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't, like, and he didn't tell me what I needed to do. He just yelled. And so the guy who was there at the time, he just looked at me and goes, what was that about? And I explained and he goes, well, what does he expect you to do about it? I don't know. He just wanted to yell and complain at me. And that was, again, after the phone call and stuff like that over to my biological parents' house. And it's like, I didn't set up the video game thing. You set that up. You put that all together. You did that, not me. So I don't know why you are messing with all sorts of stuff. And so, yeah. I wound up dealing with that. And then, I went and had my son come outside. I was like, hey, I didn't set up your thing, right? And he said, no. And I was like, who did? Just so that way I'm clear on this. And he said, oh, Patrick did. So, okay. So Patrick Kennedy, by the way, had set up the video game thing. He said, yeah. And I said, okay, do you know how he set it up? No. Okay, well, I guess that is what it is. Because what am I supposed to do? I don't play video games. I don't know how to do that sort of stuff. I obviously didn't set that stuff up. So, you know. And so, in that regard, if somebody such as Patrick Kennedy had continued on with that sort of bitter ex-boyfriend sort of stuff after he had pointed the loaded shotgun in my face, which had caused the final end and breaking straw of that relationship, that would be for other individuals to deal with, not me. If he had hypothetically also, in regards to, since the fact that I met him because of Phillip Omstead, who claimed to be a professional gamer, that would be another individual to speak with in those regards. And since I received a message from an individual from Dallas area, I guesstimate, about a picture that was on my Facebook profile as well as my FetLife profile, but I had removed it because I tried to figure out how to do the cropping thing and stuff like that. I did not set up that picture. I just wanted the picture of me with my patch. And Patrick, here's the irony of ironies. The Christmas of 2011, he had bought me a leather vest. And I looked at him after opening it, and I asked him what was in the box. And he said, oh, I got you a leather vest. And I looked at him, I said, this is what you wanted to give me in front of my son. And he said, yeah, what's the big deal? James, go to your room. I love you. Okay, Mom. He went to his room. Said, let's go to the bedroom. We're going to talk. And this is just before the shotgun, mind you. And so Patrick looked at me and he goes, what, don't you like your gift? You are a submissive in the BDSM realm, correct? And he said, yeah. I said, last I checked, I'm a dominant and sadist. Like dominant sadist, right? He said, yeah, what's the big deal? Let me also add that I have studied leather culture, not just like in regards to wearing leather, but like actual leather culture. And he said, yeah. And you know that I've studied. Yeah. So who do you think you are to purchase a leather vest for me? And he got offended. And I was like, if you knew what was going on in my thoughts at this very second, you would be apologizing profusely. I know that you should know better. And Patrick got upset. He goes, well, can't you just like try it on over the, whatever I was wearing at the time? Put it on, and he was like, it looks good. And I'm like, it does not look good. It is not a cut that I would wear. And I will not ever wear this. Ever. Like, you can... And he was offended because I refused to ever wear it out. Well, you could put your patch on that. Again, who are you to think that I would ever put my patch that I earned on that? First and foremost, that is not a leather cut that I would wear. Let me clarify that. That is nothing like what I would wear if I'm gonna wear a leather. Second, again, you, Patrick, are the submissive. Do not ever attempt to top from the bottom. Not with me. And he got offended. So I would guesstimate there are those in any level of BDSM, though especially in leather, that would very much understand my rage and my fury. And I kept myself calm. I did. I went outside and I smoked a whole bunch. And I was still infuriated. Still am to this day for that disrespect. Get me a leather cut. You're a who? And then, later he brought it up again, and I looked at him and I'm like, what about it? So you're not going to wear it? No. Well, and he got it because he thought I would wear it to my Dallas Dominant Mentor Program graduation. He thought that I would, and he threw a fit because I refused to wear it to my graduation. I was like, I bought myself what I'm gonna wear to my graduation. I bought two pairs of leather boots, and I kept them in the box because I wasn't gonna wear them until I graduated. When my graduation date came, in this reference, I wore my leather boots that I earned, that I purchased for myself. I wore the corset I purchased for myself, and I wore the skirt that I purchased for myself. And no, I did not wear that leather vest, ever. Because, first off, it was hideous for someone like me. It was not a cut that I would wear. It did not have what I would want in my leather vest. Second, while it would look good on others, that's not me. Others are not me. Third, again, in reference to the leather aspect and the Dominant Mentor Program, I don't think so. And so he threw a fit. He threw a temper tantrum. He was so mad. I don't care. I don't care. No. I'm not, But the picture that was taken of me, when in reference to the graduation, I had recommended going against the wall where there was a bunch of artwork, because it was like one of the few places that had like a bunch of stuff going on. Instead, Patrick was like, "Oh, well, you should like the lighting is better here. This and then so a little bit this way, a little bit this way, a little bit." Okay, okay, and I just was excited to graduate, and so in that reference, I think that is very well understood. At least if you understand that particular lifestyle. And so, yeah, I even asked him, "You a motorcyclist?" "No, what does that have to do with anything?" Well, if you actually understood that, you would have known better than to get me that. Yeah. And since I don't ride motorcycles, then there's that aspect. So not only are you a submissive, and nothing wrong with submissives, let me clarify that, but in reference to Patrick Kennedy, no. And so I didn't discuss that in many ways. I did discuss that with a couple people when I was in San Antonio, but very few individuals, because it was one of those, I was so infuriated, so insulted, so enraged. I was one of those, I can't. I'm just gonna bite my tongue, literally and figuratively. And then when I went to go to my storage unit, it was completely cleared out of all my stuff, on top of what occurred in reference to the move from Irving to San Antonio, where I couldn't get all of my stuff because Patrick Kennedy refused to allow that to happen. And since, the whole firearm issue, it was one of those, well, who do I call? Because, I look like I do, as that has repeatedly been pointed out to me by multiple individuals. Who do I call? So, irony at this point, I have technically written to a bunch of individuals, sent my books to quite a few individuals after the Library of Congress. So all the people who chose to believe Patrick Kennedy instead of me, or on FetLife at the time he went by Alpha Gen X, well, I couldn't tell a lie then. I cannot tell a lie now. And, maybe there's something to be said about you shouldn't judge someone just because of the way they look. However, those are just a few examples. Share and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. But do also send this to law enforcement, although of course I will do that hashtag thingamabob. Not that they probably don't already know by this point. So, and already filled out the forms in the various locations on top of the letters that I've sent and the books. So, you guys have a good one.